CBS News reports that a woman in Alabama has been awarded $2.1 million after Walmart falsely accused her of stealing goods from one of their stores, amounting to around $48. Her initial case was dismissed a year after being accused of stealing the goods when a Walmart employee failed to respond to a subpoena, which is the equivalent of a witness summons, to appear in court. But reportedly, Walmart continued to bombard her with letters demanding $200 in a settlement, else they would bring a civil claim for recovery. So this brings me to an issue that some of you have addressed in the comments, which is the cameras that watch you when you're at a self-checkout. You see, in this lady's claim, she said that had they provided this footage, it would have shown that she did in fact pay for the goods and that they were wrong to accuse her of stealing them. So whilst you might not like the idea of being filmed at the checkout, it does serve both purposes. It would serve the purpose for the store to prove that you stole goods, but equally it could also show that you are perfectly innocent in that you have paid for the goods and any accusation that you've stolen them would be wrong. So let's turn for a moment to wrongful arrest and false imprisonment, which inevitably would be where the police have arrested you without a proper cause. For example, if it was you at a local supermarket accused of stealing these goods and the security called the police came, arrested you, detained you, but it turns out that it was all wrong. And in fact, you had paid for the goods or never had any intention of stealing the goods in the first place. How does the law treat this situation, and might you be eligible for compensation? Well, let's take a look. Well, first of all, it won't just be a case of arrest and detention at a police station, but it could involve a wider range of situations, such as stop and search or cases of mistaken identity, where it might simply be that you were wearing a red coat and someone reported wearing a red coat had just committed some other kind of offence. Anyone bringing such a claim for damages for wrongful arrest and false imprisonment will only have to prove that they've been deprived of liberty for a short period of time, however long or short that might be. But equally, the police will then have to provide justification for their actions. This might be that they received a credible report that someone that looked very much like you, wearing the same clothing as you, or whatever the reason was that they came to detain you in the first place. The police will then need to justify their actions in arresting you and or detaining you or searching you. And also important to remember that it doesn't have to be a full-on detention back at the police station. Even a figure of authority telling you that you must not leave and you cannot leave is a deprivation of your liberty and a form of detention, even if it's just on the streets. Taking that a step further, even if the detention was initially deemed lawful, that may change and subsequently become unlawful because of the duration of the detention, if that's found to be unreasonable and unjustified, or a failure by the police to comply with any of the rules, the law and the procedures, such as the codes of PACE in the Police and Criminal Evidence Act. So what might such a claim be worth? Well, there was a case that looked at this, which was Thompson and the Commissioner of Police in 1998. The court took all of the circumstances into account of the arrest and detention, which the court would do, together with the shock caused to the person who hadn't had any previous convictions or any other aggravating factors. An award of £220,000 was made, of which £20,000 were compensatory, including aggravated damages, and £200,000 of which were exemplary damages. And since that's the greater of the two, that warrants a little bit of explanation. So exemplary damages is something that's developed under common law, and a court can only award exemplary damages where the facts fall into one of a couple of different categories of wrongful acts where they are available, unless they are provided by statute. The first category of which is where there is oppressive or arbitrary or unconstitutional action by a public servant, such as a police officer. Or secondly, where the defendant's wrongful conduct was calculated to make a profit, which might have exceeded the compensation payable to the claimant. But the likelihood of any award of these damages is limited by the overriding discretion given to the court not to award them in any case that it chooses. So back to the case. These damages were awarded for wrongful arrest, false imprisonment, and assault, because assault might arise if the arrest was unlawful, because by the nature of it, an arrest includes some kind of physical contact, movement, and application of force. If that force is found to be unlawful and a wrongful arrest, then assault might arise out of this situation. And in this case, the court has given some specific guidance that in a straightforward case of wrongful arrest and imprisonment, the starting point would likely to be around about £500 for the first hour of the loss of liberty. And the claimant wrongly detained for 24 hours should normally entitled to be something up to around £3,000. Whereas in other cases, £5,000 has been awarded for the deprivation of liberty for 59 days. But this is contrasted with another decision where just 10 days attracted an award of £7,500. But as I say in many of my videos, it always comes down to the evidence, whether that be witness evidence of someone near to you or witnesses what happens and they can bear testimony to what happened or didn't happen, or whether it's CCTV footage that's in stores watching what you are doing at the checkouts, which will either prove or disprove that the theft has taken place. Now, there are GDPR issues, and of course the companies that are utilizing these CCTV have to comply with GDPR, and it engages the right of access to that data, so you could demand the footage of the CCTV within the shop. Although in the case reported in Alabama, this lady says that they didn't provide the footage. But personally, I don't have an objection to being filmed at the self-checkouts. I've used self-checkouts since they were first implemented, and for me, it just saves me a lot of time. But because they are reportedly rife with opportunity for theft, as I've explained in my other videos, I can see the justification for shops wanting to put CCTV in place, because it will make it easier both for the store to prove that there was a theft taking place and to remove any doubt for you as the shopper if you haven't actually stolen any goods. So I hope you found this video interesting. Please share it with someone that you think is worried about being filmed at the checkouts, and maybe it will provide some kind of relief that actually it might be in their favor. Remember to drop a like on this video, subscribe, and thanks for watching.